Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and a brand new video on Marvel Contest of Champions. I'm here in my science section, and it's not really kind of like boasting very much, except for one guy, and that is Mr. Luke Cage. The cage has been unleashed, the Luke has been uncaged, whatever title I'm going to run with this video. I like the fact that this champion has been improved, because he should be like so much more powerful than he currently is. And he has been given this little bufferoonie, which has made him a lot better. If you're not familiar with the recent kind of like beta testing of kind of like stuff in game, we had some improvements to Red Hulk and to Luke Cage, two characters that did need slight improvement. A lot of improvement, okay, I'll give you that, a lot of improvement. So I had to rank 5 Luke Cage, I had to experiment and kind of like have a look at this champion and kind of talk about some stuff as well as improvements that have been done to him, and then put him into some like gameplay situations and try and see if he is going to be something or someone that I'm really going to use in the future. As we know, champions that enter into the game have improved synergies, and obviously we've not really kind of gone back to the old synergies with regards to improvements. I tip Luke Cage to be improved with a Misty Knight synergy at a later date. I think that's going to be the case. We're going to see a Misty Knight come into the game. We're going to see an amazing synergy improvement for this character. But at the moment, and as it stands, there's no emphasis on kind of damage output. It's more of a case of damage limitation with regards to things like block proficiency with heroes for hire. We've also got, again, more perfect block chance, and then we've got finally 10% less special damage. Again, this is for like a defensive based Luke Cage. With regards to damage output, there's nothing there. So like I said, Misty Knight, when she eventually comes into the game, I suspect we're going to see improvements with his synergy or something associated with the synergy. His indestructable really is something that has been vitally improved, so this tough out signature ability. The idea that he can have like a cooldown, and obviously the more high signature level you've got, the better the kind of like cooldown ratio is going to be. I'm not quite sure with regards to like his seconds improvements. I think it will probably be a case of that how many seconds that lasts will probably improve, so it's like the more time you are indestructible for, I think that again will improve the character. But again, that's not the case. It emphasizes on damage output. When it comes to like general stuff, obviously attack rating is improved, and we're going to see a lot of the kind of gameplay of this kind of like high crits. And one thing in particular I'm kind of focusing on with the champion, which I think is probably the best thing about it, is trying to emphasize on a Perma Stun. And if you're not familiar with the Perma Stun like I did with Hulk, it was a case of like doing the L1, getting to like a stun, putting in another stun. It was just like repeatable stuns, which obviously kept the champions kind of locked down in a position where I could constantly kind of apply lots of damage to the enemy. The same thing really applies for this champion, in that I'm going to be doing a lot with L1. You're going to see in this gameplay that I'm going to be smashing the L1. I'm then going to be kind of building on that exhaustion and trying to see if my timing's there. And you'll kind of see for a little chunk of time, I get the rhythm right, in that I'm applying like L1, the lights, the L1s, the mediums, in such a way that I can then build up to a second L1, apply it in with a stun, and then without any kind of hesitation being able to do that again. And I get that sequence kind of locked down quite well, and then obviously that you're going to see that there's going to be a failure, but at the same time I do pick up the win. And that's the thing, I take a W, not an L in this case, because obviously we want wins, we don't want losses. Now you could really be using the L2 and the L3 in conjunction with one another, so you're applying in the L3 and then going to the L2. I'm going to be running some footage at the moment which kind of shows that. In this particular footage, I'm having a power gain team on, which is improving by about 24% power gain. Now, obviously without the power gain team, it does mean that I'm not going to be building up. And the plan is to kind of do L3 and then do the L2. Why? Because what we're doing is the L3 is kind of like 4 exhaustion debuffs being put on, which obviously is going to be great because we've got those 4 straight on very quickly. Boom. Like that, and then it's a case that we're reducing down the critical damage and also the potency of the power gain. Obviously that's important because again we're reducing down effects that are coming towards us that are not going to be particularly nice. However though, what I'm then trying to do is applying in L2. The L2 then basically means that we're reducing the ability accuracy by 25%, and obviously that's for every debuff that's on. So obviously 4 exhaustion debuffs are going to mean that it's then going to turn into 100% ability accuracy reduction for 13 seconds. Now this is going to be handy against health like targets that have like a huge amount, and I mean that's going to be good, but unfortunately we'll have to reapply that, and you will need the power gain team in order to achieve that. So it may not be something that's going to be viable for players when it comes to like going against targets like magic, especially if it's a case that limbo is going to be triggering left, right and center. And what I would then recommend against like alliance wars like attacking for this kind of purpose, I don't really think so. It's again, you need a rapid rate of power gain with regards to going on that. And yes, it could be a case that you've built up enough exhaustion debuffs and then applying in an L2, but obviously the rate that you'll have to do that is going to be quite significant, which isn't going to be quite so effective for your playing style. Anyway, let's load up a team with Luke Cage being the focus point, and let's smash Winter Soldier, and then come back to me after and we'll talk a little bit more about the champion. So that indeed was Luke Cage, and obviously my thoughts on this champion is that this is vitally improved. I don't think I'll be using the champion quite so much in stuff, in general content. I think it's going to be more fun for arena. I do like the idea of exhaustion. I think it is great. I would hope for a 5-star at some point, a 5-star version. I think I would probably then use a lot more. I've tried out with some stuff with Alliance questing. I'm not overly sold on it. Act 5 stuff. To start off with, like chapter 1, yeah, for that, but anything more, I don't think he's really as viable. There are some positive aspects you could use him in. I'm not to say that you shouldn't use him, but I think I would need a 5-star version, largely to kind of pack more of a punch, which I really would appreciate. So hopefully I get him at some point in a 5-star. Even though this champion has been incredibly improved, I would probably say that we are awaiting a really decent synergy. And as we know, the way that Kabam are rolling out new champions, we're going to see like old champions getting put into synergies and having like amazing improvement buffs. So I'm looking forward to that, where they add something in, and whether or not they're going to make him like more emphasis on attack. Hopefully they don't emphasize stuff with regards to his defensive stuff. So the synergies that we got currently are very high. There's a high emphasis on being quite defensive, and the team that I was running was based on kind of improving his attack aspect and not really his defense, because it does seem that his, yeah, most of it's just based on that. His L3 is based on that, like damage limitation, and obviously his signature ability is about damage limitation, not taking quite so much damage as a champion. Either way, I'm sold on this champion. I think it's like a good improvement, and hopefully they do this a lot of other champions. So that's been a video, and it was all about Luke Cage. Obviously, the man, the myth, the legend. I've been RichTheMan. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.